But for a week before the Helping Parents Heal conference, I started to get a new physical symptom in my body, a tingly electrical feeling on my left hip, on the skin, on the outside of my body, like someone was holding a sparkler, a 4th of July sparkler up against my hip and going like this, like 1,000 little lights, tingly, sparkly. I have never felt anything like it in my life, unlike any physical sensation ever. And as I encourage you to do, anytime you get a new sensation, ask, what is that? Who is this? What's this all about? And just like the burning coal image, I got no answer. So it perplexed me, but I knew it would come when I was supposed to know. And it kept coming up at odd times when I was meditating or when I'm lying in bed. It wasn't due to any pressure, one piece of clothing I was wearing. It was odd times. And each time I asked, it happened at least once a day for about 5 days. Who is this? Nothing. I couldn't sense who it was. So on the flight to Phoenix for the Helping Parents Heal conference, there it is, multiple times, really frustrating me. Who is this? Who is this? And I don't think I even shared with anybody in my wonderful team of human helpers that this was happening. Well, the morning of Saturday of the conference, I went for a walk, and there's that tingly feeling again. I was in a neighborhood in Phoenix, Arizona, and suddenly I sensed that sparkly feeling again. And I knew it was my stepdaughter, Susan, but it didn't feel like Susan. But she's saying, it's me, I'm the sparkly light. And I said, I need some signs. And she said, listen to your music. And just then, the music I'd been walking to played this song called Woman Down. Now, Susan was knocked down by a bolt of lightning. You know, when a first responder goes down, they go, man down. Well, she was a woman down in her military uniform, down on the tarmac. And just then the lyrics on this song, Woman Down, came on and said, there's a phoenix down inside you when your feet are to the fire. And I remembered Susan had a giant phoenix tattooed on her hip. She never explained to any of us why she got that, but I know now because she has sure risen from the ashes to share with all of us in a new and brilliant way. So why is she coming through with this sparkly light on my hip? Well, right where the tattoo was. And she said, I'm all around you right now, Suzanne. And then snagged my attention with this trash can on the street. And I started laughing. It was trash day in Phoenix. All up and down both sides of the streets were trash can with the word Phoenix on it and a picture of a phoenix, just like the tattoo on her hip. And I'm saying, well, that's clever. I'm not quite sure why you're doing this to me all week, but I went back to the Airbnb that Lynette and I were staying at. I shared all of this with her, and I said, the only thing that doesn't make sense is she says we're joined at the hip, but her tattoo was on her right hip, and she's been tingling me on my left hip. And brilliant Lynette said, well, Suzanne, if you're joined at the hip, her right hip tattoo would join on your left hip. Duh. So that was just brilliant. So I said to her in meditation then, Susan, but why are you not coming through normally? This just doesn't sound like you. And she said, just like the sparkly light, Suzanne, we're all beings of light. We're all beings of light, whether you're playing the role in your human suit or whether you're across the veil, we are this light. And we have known each other for 1,000 years. You and your entire soul family, you listening now to me speaking in this webinar, have known your loved ones for 1,000 years and more, for all eternity. So the last night of the conference, Saturday night, they had a guest speaker, the wonderful Scottish medium, Gordon Smith. I'd seen him on YouTube, read his books, had never met him. He's known as the most accurate medium in the UK, the United Kingdom. I was so excited to sit in the front row and watch him. And he came up and he was talking to a couple people in the front row. And I stood up and I said, "Hi, Gordon. Nice to meet you. I'm Suzanne Giesemann. And you might know I wrote Mavis Patilla's book and Janet Nohavitz's book, other mediums that he would know." And he was just like, "That's nice." He was focused on getting up front. And it was very clear he didn't know me at all. It was just so clear. And I was totally okay with that. He was in his own little world of mediumship. But he got up and I knew he was going to do a demonstration of mediumship and bring through messages from kids in the audience. Now, we had about 900 Shining Light parents there. And I love to hear people get messages. And I did something very unusual. I silently asked Susan for a message. I said, "Susan, I want to know, was that you?" Even though the signs and synchronicities were very clear. And the second I asked, "Was that you?" I felt selfish. I thought, who am I, who knows this is Susan, to take away a message that might come to somebody else here who needs it more than I do? So I just put it aside. And Gordon gave this beautiful, inspiring talk. He brought through messages. God, he's good. He was describing a vision he had where he saw an old woman's body lying on a table, and a spirit came through and touched the woman's body and threw her soul off into the air like sparkling lights. Okay? He said, and I quote, "That vision filled me with light. I will be like that, a billion lights, all sparkling, full of light, creating more and more in its expansion. That's what happened to everybody you've known after they've died. They've become light." He said then, "There can be a great cost to being sensitive. You're feeling things in the world. One day somebody dies." And right there when he said that, you can see it on the video, somebody snagged him, just like my guides did. And he turned and he looked directly at me, straight in the front row. And he said, "That happened to you, didn't it? Somebody you knew died, and it changed your life." And I said, yes. And I knew what was happening in this moment, that lift you get when you just know your loved one is here. And he said, "But it wasn't your child." And I wanted to say, yes, she was my stepchild. You're right. She wasn't my child. She was my stepdaughter. That's right. And he said, "But there was a lady went to the spirit world, a young lady, and she's here." And I just went, yes. And my hands went up and everybody laughed, but it was like, oh my God, she answered my request. And he said, and she just said, "Do you know why she wants to come in? That science thing, that light." She says, "That's me." Explain it to people. That's me. I am that light. That sparkly vibrational feeling on my hip. I was saying, "Susan, is that you? This sparkly light?" And here she comes through the most accurate medium in the UK to say, "Tell them I am that light." And I shouted out, "I do." I do share that word with people. Everybody in the audience laughed. And he said, "Oh, fantastic," which just shows he did not know my story. He did not know about Susan. And he went on and said, "Well, tell them that," she says, "about the light I've just explained. It has to be shared. It has to be passed. That's not my teaching," he says. "That's Spirit's teaching. And we should all teach people. That's what it's like." If I am doing my job, my friends, you get it now. Yes, we unfold as you and me and limitless seeds in the one watermelon, but there is only one light joining us all, and it's through the manifesting as souls who come to us and give us signs and sparkly feelings on our hips. It's through the individuation of the one indivisible light, the appearance of separation, that we come to know the answer to the question, who am I? I am that light. Repeat after me. I am that light. And the more you come to know this, the more you will be a light unto others. Your light will glow so brightly that you heal others by your very presence. For now, if you don't feel it, allow it to flood you. Call it in, because it is so healing. It is so real. It is our very essence. And what cannot be separated, we call that love. And you and I cannot be separated at the deepest level. So we may look different, we may think differently, we may act differently, but at our deepest level, we love each other. So share it wide, won't you?